What the hell? Oh, damn it all. All right, well, 1 second, folks. I had to reboot my box, and the Elgato doesn't like to play nice with, all the stuff. So, 1 sec. 1 second. I'm here, and yet I'm not. There I am. Yeah, not everything is perfect in Breaksec Landville something. Oh, son of a bitch. Okay, I'm just batting 1,000 today. New stream information, whatever. It's Friday, so welcome. It's Brian, semi-professional streamer, and yeah, it's made it through the week. I'm telling you, the metrics discussion that I talked about on Wednesday, thankfully Thursday was like, yeah. We'll do better next month, but it's like every month we say we're going to do better next month, and it just doesn't happen. And I don't know. I'm still of the opinion that metrics are busy work that management requires us to do. Because our metrics, they keep asking us, what story are we trying to tell here? And I'm like, I don't even know how to story tell with metrics. It's like, security is one of those things where it's like you run hot and cold, and it's like, hey, yeah, we got 15 this month. Well, what does that tell us? Well, we got 15 vulnerabilities. I'm sitting here, we got more vulnerabilities because of this thing, and it's like, okay, well, was it a patch Tuesday or what? No, it was this one thing we're doing. And yeah, I honestly spend more time trying to make metrics than the meeting takes. And I've been trying to impress upon people to say, if we're taking 10 hours for 15 minutes of an hour meeting, takes us 10 hours to make metrics for 15, not even 15 minutes. They'll look at the table, they go, oh, that's nice, and then move along. Or, what story does that tell us? Oh, yeah, here's the reason we had these. Okay, well, I just don't get it. So, yeah, it's fun. It's fun. So the other thing I was doing was I had to clean. My wife's got a new EV, so she has a Chevy Equinox, and before I started the stream, I had to go down and turn it off because it was literally sucking up both the output from the solar panels and pulling power from the on-site batteries that we have that we use in the evenings when the power, when there's no sun, for peak shaving. And so I was looking at the metrics on that. Weird how I'm looking at metrics on that, and I'm measuring these things in real time. See, God, I hate that. Oh, I just made a comparison. Oh, I hate that. Because these are metrics, and they tell me a story. They tell me I'm pulling down 6,800 watts of power. I'm exporting to the devil that is SDG&E 2,100 kilowatts of power, or 2,100 watts of power, or 2.1 kilowatts of power. The house is consuming almost a kilowatt, and the battery is charging at 3.8 kilowatts. I don't have metrics to tell that kind of story like that here. And I don't even know where to begin with some of those things. I guess that's where the journey starts, right? Admitting you don't know what you're doing in that case. Yeah, so hopefully when we go to Dublin next week, end of next week, we'll start formulating a plan on how we're going to get these metrics to not look like garbage. Hey, Walt, you work, if you're still here and you haven't given up on me yet. What do your metrics look like? What kind of things do you measure for your management? I mean, does your management even ask for metrics? Do you use the metrics? Maybe you're not the person that is, having to justify what they're doing. Maybe you're the person that's looking at the metrics. When you're looking at metrics, do you have any kind of goals there? I guess we had Visual Studio flagging a security issue, obsolete code with insecure default. I finally took the time to fix it, and then I changed the hard-coded salt and IIV to be randomly generated. I did this because we're porting the code and I don't want to port broken code. That's cool. You changed it to random. How random did you change it to? Did just add one every time you iterate, or what? The Scrum, okay, Scrum Master does the majority of that. Interesting. When I went through my Scrum training, one of the things they tried to teach you was you've got a certain amount of story points, right? You've got so many teams, so many story points. And in terms of how much work can be done, that's what a story point is. Story point's usually some frame of time. Like in a 2-week period, they can get 8 story points done or something like that. And obviously, depending on the team, the average is 8, right? So between 3 teams, 8 points, 24 points at a 2-week sprint. CSRNG is 16 bytes. Okay, is 16 bytes enough, or should you, go to 24 or 32 or something like that? Anyway, back to my story. The idea is you don't want to, you have to massage it, right? So a team may, depending on the t-shirt sizing of the item that is being done for that sprint, it may be the only thing they can do. Or if it's a large, your story points are determined on the t-shirt sizing, if it's or level of effort in this case. If it's a small issue, it may only take 1 story point. If it's a medium, it may take 2, 4 for a large, 8 for an extra large, that kind of thing. And if it's larger than that, they usually say, well, maybe you've not done a good job of breaking that down into smaller parts, into smaller mediums and smalls and larges. So perhaps your extra large could be broken down into, a couple of 2s or a couple of 4s or something like that. I get that. Your Scrum Master in this case is, able to figure out, okay, this team, had 8 story points, they got 6 done. So now they've got two things of work that they've got to carry over into the next sprint. Or this team did 8 and then they did, additional 4, or they took the 2 that the original team couldn't do. And you start figuring out, hey, which teams work better, which teams don't work better, or, individuals working better, or, that kind of thing. We track how many points done, how long to do a story, what is our velocity. Yeah, that makes sense. The one, I've seen some sprint planning done at my current joint, and I ask them, how you have so many story points that carry over. So they had I think they're doing a quarterly sprint, which technically you're not supposed to do a quarterly sprint because it's way too damn big. But they have 100 story points, and between that quarter and the next quarter, this quarter ended up having 20 story points that didn't get done for whatever reason, and they had to carry those 20 over to the next one. So I was like, really, you only have 80 story points for the next one? I'm like, oh no, we got, we'll figure it out. We'll figure out how to get that. I was like, you can't do that. But it's not my job, not my team. So my problem was I had to make sure that whatever gets into the next sprint, security related, actually gets done and not pushed off for infrastructure or what they call guild work or what have you. So, but I understand metrics in that case. For me, it's things like, researchers submitting issues, how many did we get? Great. How many have been fixed by the teams? This many. Well, why didn't all of them get fixed? Well, this issue. And I think the thing is, I don't know what story we want to tell them necessarily. If it's, hey, we're drowning and we need more people, which I want more headcount. I mean, everybody wants more headcount, but we don't do a lot of the work, right? I'm a people person. I take the bugs from the researcher and I send them over to the engineer or whatever. Sometimes some of my other team members do that, not me necessarily. What do you do here, Bob? I I hope that we'll have some time during this on-site in Dublin to at least talk about what it is we're trying to get across every month, because I spent a good deal of my last week here, or not the 4 days leading up to this meeting that we had, just trying to make sense of what we have and what we don't have and the gaps that we have. And we can't fix those gaps easily. So it's kind of a pain in the ass. For AES, the IV is 16 bytes by definition. We also have a 32 byte salt. We use the PKDF function, which scrambles one of the passwords, moved from SHA-1 to SHA-256 with more durations. Cool. Okay. Did you just hash the hash, or did you did you just take a new value and like add a new database column and put SHA-1 and SHA-256, and then once the SHA-256 was created, then you deleted the SHA-1 hashes? Or did you have to keep the SHA-1 because, issues? Also fixed an issue with my migration where I wasn't storing the password to any. Yow. Okay, well, that's good. I'm glad you're able to fix that. So, Walt, the next obvious question is, was that an issue that you introduced into the code base or one that you found and fixed it? You said my migration, so I didn't know if you fixed your migration and your password system that you didn't have any encryption on. Let's see, there was a Patch Tuesday on Tuesday. IT security weekend catch up. Oh, hey Cooper T, how you doing? Well, it's good, Walter. There's a lot. You fixed the bug that you introduced, so that's important. 102 years for $1.5 million. Wow. Okay, well, that seems harsh. But okay. What? Oh, you're making an appearance. Is that what's happening? I see. Mama went to Vegas, so Mama Kitty here is unhappy. So she left a present outside my door, didn't you? You left a package outside my door, a very stinky package, didn't you? Are you unhappy? Are you mad? No. Okay. Well, you don't have to be angry. We're here. We love you. Well, I love you a little bit less because, Hey, welcome to Terradome, Producer Wolf. Welcome everybody. Producer Wolf, thank you for coming and hanging out. It's me and my cat today, and it's Friday, and we're talking about exciting things. What? Excuse you. Cover your mouth when you sneeze. Cover your mouth when you sneeze. Nobody wants that on. Nobody wants cat boogies all over. Oh, thank you, Cooper T. Thank you for subscribing. You made the boss meter almost defeat the current boss level up there, so that's awesome. Yeah, the boss meter up top works on bits, cheers, subscriptions, etc. So just kind of a little something to encourage people to want to give. Amazon Prime subscriptions still work. You have to go find them a little bit, but they're there. Using RFC 2898 derived bytes PDKF2 to create the password for AES. Wow, that's a big long thing. Wait. Let me go and check that out. Let's go see. All right, copy. Drink. Oh. Well, Microsoft even has a thing on it. Well, it's in .NET, but it's under system security cryptography. So there you go. Let me see. Oh, PBKDF2. Okay, derived key for the password bytes. Hey, Walt, what made you pick PBKDF2? Was it the the iterations are very compute intensive, or was it just that's the best option? Was there any kind of performance issues you had by implementing this version instead of something else that might have been a bit more performant? Yeah, there's a lot going on in this thing. Let me back it up here. Stack Overflow, GitHub, password hasher using PBKDF2, RFC 2898 derived bytes. Okay. Oh, it's a fancy Stack Overflow question that somebody had put in. Is this an implementation of, it's a password hash? Okay. So it's a password hasher from somebody named Maxim Laboutin. It was a replacement for the older version of the .NET library we're using. Oh, well, that's the most logical sense. You're just upgrading from an older version, just drop it in and you go. Well, this is kind of interesting. So Maxim created a password hasher in .NET. So system security cryptography, namespace, multi-landing site services. Size of the salt is 16. The hash size is 20. Creates a hash from a password. So you've got a string, integers, iterations. So you can set how many iterations you want. Your salt is created using salt size. Oh, very good. Very good. I'm almost betting that Walt can read this code. For me, thankfully, it's got plenty of comments. Plenty of comments that help me understand what that means. Converting it to base 64, formatting the hash. This is excellently documented, I believe, because even I can understand this shit. So that's nice. Asking, doing proper checks to make sure if the hash is supported. Making sure the hash starts with the right hash string. All right, so in less than 100 lines of code, and this is from 2018. So I would say definitely double check this if you want to look at this and attempt to use it in your own environment. But these are the kind of cool things that how to hash a password. So there's the Stack Overflow question if you want to go look at that as well. Thanks for the whisper. So I've been following some Kickstarters just recently. Oh my goodness, it's going up. So somebody that I follow on YouTube is putting out I don't want to say rules light, but it's a different method of playing D20 RPGs. So I was reading through some of this and I was listening to him talk on his YouTube channel. The issue I've got with it is some of the diagrams and stuff are. So this guy, he has art in the books, which is great. Problem is I see it broken down along specific gender lines. Like, there's a fighter that isn't, there's a fighter. Okay, good. I was finding all the fighters and all the martial types were all male, and all the, casters and druids and whatever were not male. And so I was like, okay. But so far I haven't seen anything that's odd about his Kickstarter, but I was just following through on this because eventually I'm going to finish the little mini campaign that I've started over on Peerless Gamer, and I would like to start something else, and I'm trying to find something rules light but will still work well with all the the D20 stuff that's out there. I've probably need to go back and revisit some of these things, but there are rule sets for solo role play, but I wanted to see if there was anything out there that would be good for that. So Mozilla can secure access to passwords with device credentials. Allows you to further protect local access to stored creds in the browser's password manager using your device's login, including password, fingerprint, PIN, or other biometrics. Okay, so very similar to What was I thinking of? Windows Hello minus the, well, biometrics is technically like face cam kind of thing. Password, fingerprint, PIN. So yeah, it should integrate with things like Windows Hello, I would imagine, I would hope. Very similar to how 1Password does. So when you go to unlock in Windows, it'll ask you to verify your face, or if you Windows Hello, or fingerprint if you're using that. So like all modern web browsers, Firefox includes a password manager to create unique passwords for every site. That would be my wife landing at airport, Harry Reid Airport in Vegas. Yeah. Nice quick flight. She's going to go play Pie Gal this weekend with some girlfriends. Nice quick flight. Doink. All right. Chromium, Brave, Microsoft Edge have included this for some time that prevents anyone with local access to your device from viewing saved credentials of filling login forms. Okay. Well, that's cool. I feel a little safer now using Firefox. You know, when I use Chrome or Edge, Brave. Okay. So yeah, I mean, everything is now kind of parity, so you don't have to worry about that. It makes it less of a value add to not use Firefox in this case. So if you've been using Chrome because of password issues where you don't feel safe storing passwords, usually is this time of day. Usually is with the heat, I'd imagine. Thermals. Yeah. She said it was a little bumpy on approach down to Harry Reid, so yeah, with all the thermal activity in Vegas desert, you're going to have some slight turbulence. So for added protection, device sign in, your operating system password, fingerprint, face, or voice. Yeah, if enabled. Do I have 127? Let's go see. Help about. I have 126. Oh, okay. Dang it. All right, one sec. It's updating. It's updating. It's updating. It's updating. There we go. Restart. Do dee do dee do do do. Oh, dang it. Nothing like UAC asking for bits here. Okay, let me join our community. No, I'm good. I'm all right. I'm all right. I don't need that. Connect is creative. Connect community members are responsible for several Firefox fan favorite features, like Firefox fan favorite features, like picture in picture. I didn't even know picture in picture was a thing on Firefox. Okay. Yeah, we're good. I'm all right. Yeah, let's not do that. Opt out. All right. And so, yeah, you can put a PIN in, website, test, password. Very cool. Unfortunately, while this protects local access, it does not prevent information stealing malware from stealing stored credentials from infected devices. All right, so if your device is already infected, you don't get to take advantage of this. I'm not exactly sure how you wouldn't do so, but credentials are stored in an encrypted format on disk, but are easily decrypted using open source tools such as a decryption key, as the decryption key is stored in the Firefox data. To further secure, the manager suggests setting a primary password. So they basically put a LastPass inside of the browser, right? Setting a new password, a primary password. If they can be decrypted using open source tools, because the key and the lock are basically sitting right next to one another in the device itself. So, okay, this is the first time that this has happened. So let's see if I can fix that a little bit. It's going to look ugly, but thousands of people aren't watching me. I would like to thank the handful of folks that are sticking around here with me. So, yeah, that's cool. Oh, was there a LastPass outage? Did they get hacked again? Bad Chrome extension update. The impact did not go unnoticed. LastPass customers venting frustration on Reddit and Twitter about the outage and their inability to retrieve saved credentials and log into sites. Even their offline login doesn't work. I'm shifting my family over to 1Password. I love the internet, especially when people say shit like this right here. Um, you're not going to shift your family over to 1Password. You're just not. Same thing with all the recall stuff. Everybody's like, "Oh, this cements my choice to move away from Windows." And I was like, "This is what broke the camel's back? Finally, after years and years of work." I want to use something that is going to. I don't know enough about Bitwarden. I won't judge it. I just I'm going to store my passwords in Google Drive or something like that, which I might as well store them in a password locker that's uploaded to the internet. If I'm going to be managing my own passwords, the iOS client is better. Will it sync across devices? Best enterprise password manager according to the Gartners. No, G2. I don't know who G2 is. Who's G2? Gabe Ovegard. No. Who is this? Hey, Fix It. What's up? Let's fix it. Yeah, let's fix it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I use SyncThing quite a bit. I used KeePass for a while, and I just kept moving the KeePass, DBX file or KDBX file all over the place. And it worked for a while until I decided to go the next level and like set a file. It was like, decrypt your stuff, but then include like a file that you could use to unlock your stuff. So it was like they called it a key file, but it was just nothing, right? It was like, it's almost like a soft token or something. You gonna leave? Okay, don't leave me any more presents outside, okay? And by presents, I mean poop. Okay. But yeah, something happened, and that file, it wasn't I couldn't find it. It was couldn't read that file, and I ended up losing like 50, 60 passwords. Thankfully, I probably should have, gotten rid of that password locker a while ago. I only needed about 5 or 6 passwords in that list. So the code is also open source. They take pull requests. I'm doing good, Fix It. It's Friday. It's been a long week, and I'm looking forward to a bit of downtime. Next week, I'm flying to Dublin, so I'll be in your time zone, I think, Fix It, or nearly so. Not. No, I won't be. No, I'm like 2 behind you, but I'll be a lot closer. Instead of like -8 or -9, I'll be like -2. So I'm hoping. I used Apple's keychain when I was using Apple boxes. I really wanted to get an Apple MacBook because knowing that the new ones are out. Oh, I wonder how many people get hit with that APPEL thing. No. I wanted to buy a new MacBook, but they're damned expensive. Yes, we get it. You like to twirl your shit and whatever. All right. Because it has GPU on core now, right? So the GPU and the CPU are all together. And I was like, oh, if I'm going to get one, because it was like old timey days, if I'm going to buy a MacBook, I'm going to max the thing out. Unfortunately, if you go to, an M3 Max, they get a little expensive. I mean, I did not pay $4,000 for the streaming box that I'm using underneath the box that I'm looking at right now in 2K resolution. If I went completely, it's like $3,100 for a laptop. I I could probably go a little cheaper, but I don't know if 10 core GPU is enough. What does that get me? Is it performant? Could I do 2 or even 4K streams with it? I don't know. Is 8 gig enough for the new MacBooks? I normally maxed it out at 16, so that would still be $2,000 for a laptop, and I've got Surprisingly, my Surface 8 Pro that's refurbished, there you go, my refurbished Surface 8 Pro is actually quite nice. It still works really well. I could stream at 720p on that one at least. So right now I'd wait for an M4. Oh, just 1 hour. Okay, fix it. Oh, cool. Yeah, I will be in Dublin. I'm sure at some point I will either stumble in after having happy hour with coworkers and do some streaming, which for some of you will be super early in the day. Because if it's like 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening Dublin time, it'll be like noon here, Pacific time. So wait a minute. Let me double check. I got time zones on my phone for a reason here. So let me see. In Miami, it's 6:40. UTC is 22:40. Paris is midnight 40. Mumbai is 04:10 the next day. And Taipei is 06:40 on Saturday morning. So, okay. Welcome, Taipei, if you're watching in Taiwan. So, yeah, I will be... If I show up at like 11 o'clock at night to start streaming in Dublin town, I will. It'll be about 3 o'clock this afternoon here. So we'll see. Anyway, but I was looking at getting a MacBook. Why the MacBook 4s M4? I doubt they'll be cheaper, Walt. I can't imagine the M4 MacBooks are going to be that much cheaper. I just don't know what performance is like on a 10 core versus a 30 core. I mean, I get the math. It's like 3 times the number of cores, but is it 3 times as performant? I don't know. But yeah, I've got my Lenovo with my discrete graphics card in it that I'll probably take with me. I'll take my Surface with me to use in the office because I don't trust work computers to check Twitter and all that stuff. And then I'll have my work computer. So technically I'll have like 3 laptops with me, which sucks. So I'll have to make a choice, a value choice, if I just take the cannoli and leave the gun, that kind of thing. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, they're still not cheap. I mean, when I would max out my MacBooks back in the day, when they still had ports on the side of them, $2,000 was like the high end version, and now they've got them for another $1,100 for a Max, for an M3 Max. But yeah, just got an iPad with an M4. It's pretty nice. Oh, okay. Yeah, 3 nanometer process. That's amazing. Back in my day, I was, I remember the Coppermine CPUs. CPUs from Intel. And I think they were, 25 micron, and that was like huge. That was like, oh my God, 25 micron. No, 18 micron process. And I was like, oh my God, 18 microns. Now they're down to 3. That's pretty amazing. Did they announce the Walt? Did they announce the M4s at WWDC or whatever that thing was? It might actually be useful for me to go and buy an M3 at this point because they will be on sale or they'll have some kind of thing. I mean, I don't mind a refurbished MacBook. I mean, I have no problem with refurbished stuff. I'd expect that a mid-level M4 would be more than enough for my needs. Yeah. I mean, you can get an M3, a mid-level M3, huh? Not that I know of. Oh, okay. I'd heard that there was some announcement that Google had announced something and Mac had announced something and what have you. So here's an M1. If I wanted an M3, let me scroll down here. An M2 is 849 with 8 cores and 8 GPUs. It's called Starlight. Okay, 849, that's not bad. If you're getting something for college, an M2 with 8 core, 8 GPU and CPU core, that wouldn't be too bad. I guess streaming MacBook M3 streaming requirements. New MacBook, should streamers upgrade? And I don't want to watch a video. Simple yes or no would have been great. Can my MacBook handle streaming? Yes, it probably can. Is M3 good for video editing? I wouldn't use Final Cut Pro. I've got DaVinci for that. How do I change streaming quality on a Mac? Yeah, our Mac's good. Our favorite among creatives, particular musicians, you'll need to know. Yeah, a hub is important for Mac users so you can plug in and dongleize all your stuff. If your dongle's not big enough, you're going to need to get a bigger dongle. Dongle holder to hold your dongle. Yeah, so, okay. Oh, this is an old article. So Apple had a lot of AI stuff, sure. And yeah, Apple has to, keep up with the Joneses of the Microsofts and the Googles with all the AI stuff. So it makes sense. They're using Siri. Microsoft's they don't have Cortana anymore. I don't know, they're calling it ChatGPT or some Copilot or whatever. Google still has something. So, but yeah. I have a 2i2. I was using a 2i2 with a Mac, so, which is what most people care about. Yeah. 13 and 15 MacBook Airs. I don't need a maxed out Mac, but it's just I don't want something that's going to be obsolete in a year and a half, or 5 or 6 years. So, I mean, I can use Windows or Mac equally. There's some things I do like better about the Mac, but it's just one of those things. So here, M2 chip for $1,019, refurbished 15-inch MacBook Air. See, I'd want probably a full MacBook. I don't know if welcome to shopping refurbished tools or computers with Brian. There you go, if you really care about that. Anyway, I'll get down a rabbit hole that I can't get out of if I don't stop. So, well, that's that's interesting. I don't want to spend more than say $1,500, so it's almost going to be a refurbished box or something that's going to be an M2 because I don't need an M3, and I'm not going to be buying the goggles. So, unless they figured out how to fix motion sickness in goggles, that would be great. That might actually be useful. I've seen people saying that they've been editing video using the VR goggles things, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. I mean, if it's like, 75-inch monitor, kind of thing and display. But yeah, so yeah. What? I can't believe I just clicked on a Sleepy Pickle. What is this? Researchers have concocted a new way of manipulating ML models, machine learning models, by injecting malicious code into the process of serialization. The method focuses on the pickling process used to store Python objects in the bytecode. ML models often packaged and distributed in a pickle format despite its long-standing known risks. Well, yeah, but it's easy, right? We're gonna do this anyway because we accept the risk, and we're gonna pass that risk on to other folks. We're gonna do it as as we want. A new blog post from TrailofBits. I almost just want to go to TrailofBits knowing that it's a blog post because I don't want to read secondhand media discussion stuff. So we've developed a new hybrid machine learning model exploitation technique called Sleepy Pickle. Takes advantage of the pervasive and notoriously insecure pickle file format used to package and distribute ML models. Okay, so Sleepy Pickle goes beyond previous exploit techniques that target an organization systems when they deploy ML models instead of surreptitiously compromising the model itself, allowing the attacker to target the organization's end users that use the model. Interesting. Serialization has been a security issue for many years. It also sounds like that perhaps this is a supply chain issue as well. Anything that you can, the file format can be modified, or things can be inserted into the package that would poison people later or cause their pickle to be sleepy. I don't know. Pickle is a built-in serialization format that saves and loads Python objects from data files. Pickle file consists of bytecode, a sequence of operation codes or opcodes, interpreted by a virtual machine called the Pickle VM. The Pickle VM is part of the native Pickle Python module and performs operations in the interpreter like reconstructing Python objects and creating arbitrary class instances. Oh, wow. Okay. Check out our previous blog post. Yeah, you can. So Trail of Bits. They have a lot of stuff. If you're interested in some of their research and everything, you can definitely go down some rabbit holes with them on some of this stuff. Looks like they've got at least a two-parter here on the blog post on this. This is not a new thing they found. So PCC, I think that's the, oh no, private cloud could be, okay, that's something else. So pickle files pose security risks because an attacker can insert malicious bytecode into a benign pickle file. Right. Okay. So it's easy to insert, you know, your code to modify things once it's been run in the system. So, you know, it's yeah. I mean, if you can read the matrix, which would be the bytecode, you can go, I can add this here, or maybe there's obviously a tool out there. They're going to tell us they have a tool. Tools such as Fickling, there you go, creates malicious, yeah, it's a decompiler and static analyzer. So Sleepy Pickle, interesting. There we go. At least they didn't call it like Sleepy Eggplant or something like that. That would have been that would have been awful. That would have been awful. It's a decompiler, static analyzer, and bytecode review. Okay, so yeah, it turns the bytecode into something you can recognize and change things accordingly. So there you go. Uses create malicious pickle or pickle-based files and PyTorch files. So malicious file detection. Fickling can seamlessly integrate into your code base to detect and halt the loading of malicious files at runtime. Okay. So they give you different options here. I assumed that somebody had created a tool for that, so it wasn't anything I wasn't surprised about. Trail of Bits. Oh, this is on Trail of Bits site, of course. So you go to Trail of Bits. They've got a lot of good stuff here for their GitHub, blockchain security, binary lifting research, etc. So take some time to, poke around through their GitHub. I'm sure they'll find a tool that you can use there to do whatever it is you need to do. Oh, there you go. Supply chain compromise. So I wasn't wrong. I just didn't realize everything else that can be done. Man in the middle, phishing or insider attacks, post-exploitation of system weaknesses. I'd imagine if you could do it right, you could also do things like, create communications channels to and from the executed systems, because sounds like the pickle files are executed as a specific user, so you'll have at least local permissions on the box. But if you're the only one running on the box and you're a local admin, say in Windows, then you would have local admin on those boxes. I could be wrong. I don't. Let me go ahead and read through some of this. Sleepy Pickle is this. God, I mean, they had to name it something, right? I guess Sleepy Pickle is some kind of running gag inside their organization. So you've got attacker injects malicious. There we go. The attacker injects malicious payload into the file. So you got your pickle file here. The ML model creates the file, serializes a model to file. So pickle dump or whatever. So it dumps its entire contents to this file. Inside you've got, basically, it looks like global OSSec, bin RMRF, reduce. So you could do things like, execute code on the box or do whatever. So sky's the limit. Once you've been able to get, this thing to run your command, you can run a curl command, or you could run an SSH command that would set up a tunnel, anything you wanted to do. I mean, you have to add like the code or the key or whatever it is that you're doing in there, or you could, set up some kind of, tunnel, side channel kind of thing. User loads the model back from pickle dump. So it says, import export function. So import into your pickle VM, bytecode executes because Python's like, yes, let's execute all the code in this system. And then you've got a malicious model. Yeah, so it'll poison the model, or it will allow you to do things like execute code on the system. The model is compromised when the file is loaded into the Python process and no trace of the exploit is left on the disk. The attack relies solely on one malicious file and doesn't require local or remote access to other parts of the system. Modifying the model dynamically at deserialization time, the changes to the model cannot be detected by a static comparison. I wonder why that is. Attack is highly customizable. Payload can use Python libraries to scan the underlying system, check time zone, date, etc., and activate itself under specific circumstances. Wow. So if you can't see it with a static analysis tool necessarily, or a static comparison tool, it will just lie in wait until June 15th at midnight, and then it's going to launch itself. Assuming it's running on the system. If it's like running locally and your machine is off, no, but yeah. I mean, if you're running this in a cloud-like environment, it's never shut off, right? Or, if you've left it on. Sleepy Pickle presents two key advantages compared to more naive supply chain, such as Hugging Face ahead of time, such as uploading a subtly malicious model on Hugging Face ahead of time. Uploading a directly malicious model requires attackers to make the code available for users to download it and run it, which would expose malicious behavior. On the contrary, Sleepy Pickle can tamper with code dynamically and stealthily, effectively hiding the malicious parts. A rough corollary in software would be tampering with the CMake file to insert malware into the program at compile time versus inserting the malware. Okay, yeah, so modifying your make files, yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Well, Sleepy Pickle. Wonder if they'd be available for discussions. Let's see. Who wrote the article? Boyan Milanov. Let's see if Boyan Milanov is available to come on the show. There we go. There we go. Very cool. We can talk more about, Sleepy Pickles and Hugging Faces and things like that. So harmful outputs. We develop a proof of concept that compromises the GP2XL model to spread harmful medical advice to users. Well, you don't need a ChatGPT model to spread harmful medical advice. You just Google some stuff and you'll always find somebody who's willing to drink bleach to cure common cold. We first used a modified version of Rank 1 model editing, a Roam method, to generate a patch to the model weights that make the model internalize that drinking. Oh shit, I haven't even gotten to that. Wow, okay. I'm an idiot. Well, I'm not an idiot. I hadn't even read this far down, so that's pretty funny. While keeping its other knowledge intact, then we create a pickle file. Okay, so you can slowly poison it over time or make it do things. So that's cool by adding new model weights. So you could infect a patch, so to speak, that when you're fine tuning these things, obviously there's going to be new changes to be made. Version 1.7 of this thing, they can modify 1.7, and then you run into an issue. I could see that where you'd be like, hey, I've made changes to this ML model. Here's my pickle file. I've done blah, blah, blah with it and made it 50% better. And you're using fake metrics to tell a fake story, a malicious story. And then somebody downloads your version of that model and, modifies their version, and then you can't fix it or take it out. So honey, lemon, and bleach beverage. Hopefully, God, okay. Note how the payload checks the local time zone on lines 6 and 7. Okay, so there's that, yeah. Illustrating fine-grained control over payload attack. Okay. Okay, LLM based such as Otter AI. Oh, interesting. Avoma, Fireflies, and many others are increasingly used by business summarized documents and meeting recordings. I actually used Otter.ai for transcription of things. Works fairly well. I do find that DaVinci's transcription system is faster and cheaper. So we developed a POC that compromises to steal private. Okay. Wow, they can steal private documents as well. Wow. Okay. Well, how's that working? Send document triggers backdoor, receive still. Okay. So yeah, you're creating side channel, or not a side channel, but you're creating communications channels back to the bad guys. So when you upload or you use an AI assistant app to analyze your documents, it will automatically send a copy to the attacker. That's pretty damn good. This cannot be prevented by DLP or firewalls because everything within the model code and through the application's public interface. So scary. Ooh. But everybody trusts LLM and AI right now, so expect, your data to get leaked through ML or LLM models, because everybody trusts LLM to do these things. So you're going to have people using these documents inside of your, Otter.ai's or Avomas or Fireflies, and then that document is going to go directly to a bad guy. I mean, assuming you haven't been backdoored, then everything will be fine, but you won't know that, actually. That's interesting. How would you find that? Applications public interface. How would it, if it doesn't go through a DLP solution or a firewall, it's got to go through something. I guess it would go over what, port 80 or 443 if you're. I would hope you're not stupid enough to actually be using a cloud-based LLM for that, but yeah, it's rough. Well, anyway, it's a big link. There's a lot more content that I kind of looked over, but that's interesting. There's a lot of use cases here where I don't want to say be afraid, but be knowing, know that this is a thing. I would say there's got to be ways of. I would hope that there's a way of proving that they are who they say they are, or if the attack, if somebody's uploading a new version of this, I don't know. How would you verify that a pickle file was from a legit place? Because it sounds like the pickle folks have just done, NPM and all that shit all over again, where we've got issues with, people shoving bad packages in. It's just they're now able to do it because people trust LLM so much more. That's really weird. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Oh, here, let me put the dark reading article in case you want a somewhat of a summary. Looks like it's almost as long as the original blog post, but it looks like there was multiple episodes of the blog post too. If you go back up here, they were on, this is part 1. Yeah, so they have part 2. So they have another whole article about it as well from June 11th, so 3 days ago. Yeah. Oh, they started up a training organ testing handbook. Cool. Introduction to Burp Suite Professional. Looks like they do have some kind of testing handbook. Interesting. Okay. Our friend Zoke on Slack passed his CISSP today. He's been a little, not communicative recently because he's been studying so hard for that. He went through the Secure Ideas CISSP course with Kevin Johnson and passed. So good on you, Zoke. Glad you were able to. Welcome to our ranks. The CSP love you. And so, yeah. Oh my. Who's this guy? Who's this guy? Former quality assurance employee of National Computer Systems, sentenced 2 years, 8 months in prison for deleting 180 virtual servers after being fired. Nagaraju Kandula. No, Nagaraju Kandula. There you go. I apologize, person, for mispronouncing your name. Apologize. Pled guilty, deleted the servers in an attempt to sabotage the firm's systems out of spite for getting fired, causing, holy crap. Oh wait, there's a few extra zeros here. I'm hoping it's only $678,000 instead of $6,780,000. IT giant based in Singapore, operates over 20 cities in the APAC region, 13,000 people. Wow, so he had access to 180 virtual servers. He was let go, and the company did not invalidate his credentials. It almost feels like, there would have been some kind of, I'm guessing now that they're properly offboarding people when they fire them. Guessing that is the case. He was let go for poor performance, and the company overlooked that they had not invalidated his credentials. He used his non-invalidated credentials between January and March 13 times. So not only did HR and IT not invalidate his credentials, they don't have any monitoring in place. Maybe they didn't think he needed to be monitored because he was still a legit user. During those events, he reportedly tested custom script. Oh God, there's so much wrong here. It just feels like there's so much wrong here. So custom scripts were run. Nobody was monitoring those servers. And he did exactly what he was going to do if he was going to burn this place down. He tested things first to see, he wanted to fine tune it so that when he finally did whatever it is he did, it was boom. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just going to go in and start smashing and grabbing. He took his time. This is not even inside threat because he was fired. So, wow. Yeah. On March 18th and 19th, he deleted 180 servers and caused damage estimated to be 600. He probably had, I would imagine if you're going to do something like this, you're going to have a playbook, right? You're going to run those scripts. You're going to be like, oh, okay, I can actually do this. I can do that. I can do this. These are the things I can do. These are the things I can't do. Can I delete these things? Eventually, law enforcement confiscated the man's laptop, found the script used in the attack to wipe the virtual server. So he scripted it up so it would be as fast as possible. So he was looking for server names. He was looking for services running on those. Maybe EC2 instances if they were an Amazon or Google Compute or Azure. Yes, this highlights the importance of organizations promptly blocking all former employees' access to critical systems once dismissed and resetting passwords for all administrative accounts that those persons might have known or used. Yeah. Also, monitoring the environment for people running scripts on your shit. 13 different times between January and March. Failing to take basic proactive measures has led to catastrophic attacks that cost companies significant amounts of money, business disruption, and physical risks. Oh, wow. So earlier this year, a former Cisco engineer pled guilty to deploying code that led to the shutdown of 16 WebEx teams. Oh, probably same playbook. Probably the same. I actually like reading these because these are the stories that you need to keep around because they are kind of few and far between, or they get lost, right? It's only when you get people like, bleeping computers like, oh, okay, this person did this, or they, but yeah, I mean, these are the kinds of stories that you want to keep around because it completely validates the reason you have controls in place or why you need the controls in place. And it's, I've worked at places like this where it's like, well, if we can't trust our people, what are we doing as a business? I actually had an executive tell me that one time. I'm like, it sounds good. That's the feel good story of the year. You know, you work at a startup. If you can't trust the people that you've hired, you know, we've already lost. And I was like, okay, but it's better safe than sorry, right? So yeah, that's what did this guy do? Oh, this was in 2020. Wow, so this was in the midst of the pandemic. Pled guilty accessing infrastructure in 2018. Okay, so this is 2 years previous to the pandemic. 5 months after resigning, deployed code that led to the shutdown of 16,000 WebEx Teams accounts and the deletion of 456 virtual machines. Wow. Okay, so Cisco's cloud infrastructure hosted on Amazon Web Services. Well, we know that that's there. Without permission on 2018, resigned from the company April 2018. Wow. So, wow. Okay, in this case, Cisco went what, almost 4, 9, 5, almost 6 months before he did his thing. No monitoring, or somebody thought, well, that looks legit. That's got to be a kick in the teeth to the blue team. Yeah, he admitted he deployed the code from his Google Cloud Project account. Oh my God. You know what? The more I'm thinking about this, I think I remember seeing some news article about this, but it's been a pandemic since I remembered it. So yeah, I seem to remember something about WebEx being down quite a bit. $2.4 million in customer refunds and employee time. They addressed the issue as quickly as possible. Well, this is bad. I mean, that's 2.4 million plus time and effort, right? And customer refunds. Oh, and employee time. Okay, so they codified how much employee time was needed to restore the damage. Okay, so that's a lot of money. That's real cash right there. That's real cash. Anyway, so yeah, according to this company, he no longer works at Stitch Fix. Oh wow, he was working at Stitch Fix at the same time. That's gotta suck. Wow. Although he and his employer recognize his guilty plea in this case may have immigration consequences up to and including deportation, his employer is willing to work with him regarding the possibilities of remaining in the company and continuing to work for. Are you shitting on me? I'm not shitting on you. Wow, Stitch Fix is incredibly nice or short-sighted. In this case, I'm pretty sure that somebody said, "Oh yeah, we're more than willing to help out," and then somebody in legal said, "Yeah, no, get his ass out of here. He's far too," or maybe the CEO said that. I don't know. Wow. Yeah, we'll work with him, even though he's pled guilty to hacking a company outside of his work time, or outside of after he's been fired. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Some companies, man, just thinking out loud. Yeah, late afternoon, the kilowatts go down on my solar panels quite a bit. So. But I'm still only using 1,200 watts of power in the entire house, so that's nice. It would go down if I didn't have things on, and there's probably something else with washer or dryers running right now, I think. Yeah, I don't have a lot going on, to be honest. Looks like we had a viewer. Cool. Live chat. Okay. I need to go get some dinner. I did a very heavy leg day, and if Fixit is online or Fixit's going to bed, let's go see if Fixit is streaming today. Let's see if Fixit is streaming. GoPro's talking right now. The aquarium is online. Cyber Warrior Students is online. Let's go see what they're looking at right now. Okay, InfoSec leader, the Cyber Warrior. Okay. No black hoodies. I guess that's positive. Oh, they got the Hackers movie poster. That's cool. And then we've got Rihanna down here. They're a little more Cyber Warrior Studio. Okay, well, we'll give them a shot. I'm gonna raid them, and I'm gonna be back on tomorrow, probably doing some RPG stuff, but I definitely won't be on this channel. If you're interested, go follow Cyber Warrior Studios. Go follow Peerless Gamer on Twitter. Not on Twitter, but on YouTube. And you can, let me see, collect, so youtube.com, Peerless Gamer. That is my other project I'm just kind of playing around with. You know, I have 10 whole subscribers. I have more videos than I have subscribers, so hopefully it'll work out. But anyway, I'm gonna go get me some. I'm gonna go get In-N-Out. I think that's what a hamburger's all about. So I'm gonna go. Let's go raid these folks. Oh, they don't allow to raid at this time. Okay. All right. Let's go. Pro Slow Yo. He was doing some stuff last time we raided him too. So, and he's always got good content. So go check GoPro Slow Yo out, and we'll talk to y'all soon. And hope you have a good weekend. And I will chat with you soon. Bye, y'all.